Welcome back to Play the Game HQ. I'm Daniel. This is Allison, and this is 13. Is that how many we have?
I think it was 13.
This is a lot of games that have higher than 4-player count. So
that are not party games.
Yes, not party games. So we've seen a lot of questions. There's just seem to have been a lot of questions going around in the forums and stuff like that on the Facebook groups of like, what are games that play more than 4 players that aren't party games? Because you don't want to play party games. Like what? Games.
Yeah, and a lot of people, because they'll have game groups, but they don't want to play like D&D. They want to play like a shorter strategy,
or
like
they
game.
don't want to play telestrations, or they want they want games that are actually board games, like not party games. The safe out for this is roll and writes, and we avoided roll and writes because that's just kind of cheating.
Well, but most roll and writes you can actually go on. A lot of publishers allow you to have a print of that.
Yeah,
so like with Railroad Ink.
Railroad Ink comes with 4.
Cartographers, you can go online.
Cartographers comes with all of them, but like Railroad Ink comes with 4 dry erase pages. But if you go online and you search for Railroad Ink print and play, they will, I believe, from the publisher, have the maps that you can print. So if you have 6 or 7 people, or 10 or 50 or 70, you can print off a bunch of things and then just figure out how the people in the back are going to see the dice.
So we didn't do any roll and writes or flip and writes or things like that because that kind of is a gimme.
Yeah, but it is also kind of a cheat code if you're looking for higher player count games and you don't have these, or you don't want to play like lay out a board, or like if you like the roll and writes, just know that most publishers that I'm aware of with the roll and writes, that even ones that do like Cartographers comes with a pad of pages.
That's true, I forgot that.
But they also make those available, so if you want to play over Zoom or something like that, but they do make those sheets available online.
You have a really good Zoom games video.
Yeah, I have a video of games you can play over Zoom.
During quarantine.
They include roll and writes because they're just great for that.
Okay, we're going to start off with a game that we actually just found out this morning. We've got some fun news on. Okay. So Wonderland's War, which is such a fantastic game.
We have a playthrough of it.
Yesterday, it hit a top 500 on BGG, which is a big deal. The top 500 in general.
This is a fantastic, bag builder, push your luck. Not push your luck, it's a bag builder.
It's a push your luck.
There is push your luck because of the bag builder. It's a fantastic bag builder game that goes so far beyond just bag building, push your luck. There's a board, you're kind of fighting people. It's a fantastic game.
2 to 5.
Yes.
So this one goes up to 5.
Yes, we do have some that play higher than 6. A lot of games, just the more players you have playing, it creates a lot of downtime in standard games. Unless something like this that has battling and things. There is some downtime in this if you're not in the battles, but that's why so many games top out at 4, because you get to more. There may not be anything mechanically that tops it out, but it just, that's a lot more components to make. It increases the price of the game, and also just you don't want to be waiting 10 minutes between your turns because there's 17 people taking a turn between you.
And the timeline for this game, it does have a per player count. So it says 25 minutes per player. So obviously if you are topping out at 5 players, it's going to
be a couple hours.
Add another 20 to 30 minutes to your gameplay depending on that. So the fun news is this is coming back to Kickstarter. It's really hard to find this game right now. So October 2022, this is coming back to Kickstarter. And we also heard you can get an expansion is going to be included, small mini, but you can also, if you already have it, you can go on there and just get the expansion or just get the extra components. So they've got the chips instead of the cardboard pieces for the bag.
Which I really want those. And if you're thinking about getting into content creation, this might be a great time because I hear from James Hudson himself. I believe they were gonna do, for all of the content creators covering this, a replica of Alice's sword from the game, but something happened. They decided not to. So he said on Twitter, they're going to be sending pink striped cats to all of the content creators reviewing this game.
James, I want a cat.
I'm afraid we're not going to be able to review this game.
I want a cat, but I want a real cat. So what I'm expecting is like
I read that as actual,
not spray paint, but I want a
food
cat.
safe. I said food safe dye. Animal safe dye.
I'm expecting a pink kitten.
I just imagine James has been working for years trying to like find the correct crossbreed and like genetic.
Yeah, you've been working really hard for
so
this,
that he
right?
can get a natural pink striped cat.
You grab for me. So that is some fun, exciting news about a game that we really do love that plays up to 5 players.
Yes. Next we have Lockup from Thunderworks Games.
Golly.
Yes.
This is just going to be part of our list. Is Allison? We're just going to do a montage of me flipping the box tops over correctly.
Yeah. So in Lockup, it's resource collection. There's some area control. You're in prison. It's been a little bit since we've played it.
This is 1 to 5 players.
Yes,
I'm going to start with that. 1 to 5, and it says 90 minutes. But I believe it will add the more players. This is one of those games. The more players you have, you will be tacking on another 10, 15 minutes.
The turns are fairly quick. Like you're trying to control different areas. I am blanking on what to say on the gameplay of this game.
What you're doing is you are locked up.
Yes, you're in the prison.
So you have your minions that are part of your grouping, and you are trying to go to different places to gain points and to have area control to get your points and things like that without getting. I can't remember what the symbol is if you're caught. You have a red token that you had, and I can't remember what that's called. And there's different
cards that you're trying to collect that score if you're able to like recruit people to your team. You're recruiting people through cards. Again, it is set in the Thunderworks, the role player world, so it's familiar characters, but you're trying to collect cards. Yeah.
Is this Ulos?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the prison in Ulos.
Oh, okay.
So you're trying to collect cards that, like, through recruiting people to your team, and if you have different combinations of cards, some just score if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 people, you score based on how many you have. Some want different things. There's the Breakout expansion that also adds a whole different element. We don't have that.
But
that
it actually adds another board where you go into a certain area of the prison, and it's really cool.
But
that one also adds like you don't have to reduce your players.
No, it doesn't add any play. It doesn't change the player count. It just adds another board and more to do. But
so
Lockup, 5 players.
Up to 5 players. It's 1 to 5.
Yep.
Okay, my turn over here.
Yes.
Ooh. One of our favorites, and it's like, damn, Daniel, this was you. You were the last one over.
So this is Castle Panic.
Did I just? Oh, okay, there we go. Castle Panic.
So this is the Castle Panic 2nd edition. It will be available, I believe, November 30th. Castle Panic 1st edition is still available at your friendly local game store.
This is 1 to 6 players.
This is one of our favorite games.
It's cooperative.
It's the game that got us into the hobby. You know the spiel by now. We love this game. It's cooperative.
We're not the only ones that love it. They have so many awesome recommendation awards on the side.
It's a fantastic game.
It's a great game.
For families. It's cooperative. It's open information. So it's good for younger players to play along because you can share information, help them with their strategy. Yeah, you're trying to stop the monsters from getting into your castle. It has a ton of expansions, but the base game on its own is fantastic. 1 to 6 players. Great. And because
if you've been here a while, we harp on this game because
because of the way it plays, obviously more players means more turns, but because of the way it goes, you are strategizing. Like it's not I took my turn, together. I'm gonna leave while you take. You're constantly strategizing together and say, okay, if I attack this ring, then who can attack this? Well, like it's
also share cards.
Yes, it's a very cooperative game.
Your turn.
So my turn. What do we do? Let's do creature comforts. This is up to 5. This is 1 to 5. You're preparing your little home for the winter.
And it's 45 minutes ish.
It takes an hour to play.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But it's
more time per player.
It's a worker placement game. You're going to different areas of the board, placing your workers there, trying to meet credentials so that you can gain resources to then buy things for your home.
Too, because you're rolling your dice in order to put your meeples there of your animal that you are, because you actually have the meeples, and then the dice. We actually have the Kickstarter version, so on that the dice have like the paw prints of the specific animal, which I just it's so good.
And you're trying to gain resources. You can buy quilts and board games and things to make your home cozy and different foods to fill your pantry.
We have a playthrough of this. This is actually one of our very first playthroughs. So we filmed this when we were still doing in our house. But we love this game. Gosh, that was almost we're coming up on a year. Yeah, almost before we filmed it.
We shot that one in January.
Oh, did we? Okay, never mind.
We shot that one in December last year. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a great game. It's adorable. It's easy enough for younger players. I'd say 8 or 9. A savvy 8 or 9-year-old can handle it fine. What do they say? What's the age on the box? Yeah, 8+. I'd say a game savvy 8-year-old can handle it just fine.
There is reader.
Yes,
it is reader dependent.
It is not language independent. So, you're next.
I'm next. Okay, we'll go for It's a Wonderful World.
Yes.
Now, I have only played this 2 players and 1 player. I played the solo, but it is a 1 to 5. So I've actually not. You've played it up to 3 at this point, correct? Did you play with the boys?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because I've not played over 2. You've played over 2, but we've not yet played it at a 5-player count. It's 14 up, but gosh, Peyton played it when he was 8.
Yeah, it's a card draft. It's 14 up because of just the component ratings.
Oh, okay.
It's not 14 up because of gameplay.
There's
nothing
really
in the theme. It's a card drafting engine builder. You're trying to build your engine to be the best business person, or kind of. Yeah, it's an engine builder.
It's distributed from Lucky Duck. If you're wondering where it's from, is Lucky Duck.
Yep, but it's an engine builder. You're trying to lay cards out that will gain you resources throughout the game, so you can pay for more cards. But it is card drafting. It's a really fun game. It is fairly independent in its gameplay. It's a 2-player game, but It's a Wonderful Kingdom.
I would do that over this as a 2-player.
Yes, It's a Wonderful Kingdom is an exclusively 2-player version of this game that is way more interactive, way more cutthroat in the drafting part. This is in the interaction is in the drafting, and then you are just building your engine, and then there is a little bit of interaction as you execute your engine, because there's
not much,
but it's based on like who wins the thing gets.
That's true.
If you produce the most of a resource, then you get a reward for it. Other than that, it's a fairly independent game.
Yeah. So if you're wanting a good interactive game and you have 1 to 2, I guess you don't have interaction as a
No, you can still talk and like interact, but there's not a lot of player interaction during the game.
Right.
So next we have the opposite of that, which is Moonrakers.
There's a lot of interaction.
A lot of interaction.
This is a 1 to 5 player game.
It's a 1 to 5 players base game out of the box, but they did do a Kickstarter for expansions, which take an already fantastic game and elevate it to an incredible game.
Overload. I like Binding Ties, but I think Overload is just I don't know if I want to play this as a base game without Overload.
But Moonrakers is a deck builder, and you are building your deck. You are going on missions, trying to complete missions that really require you, especially the more complex the missions get, they require you to interact with players. Yes.
You get to work with other players, because it's really difficult to complete a mission on your own. So you're like, okay, I can put up I need help with this one. I'm not gonna be able to, and you can't say, oh, I have these cards in my hand, because it is a deck builder game. I think you may have already said that. Yeah. And it is a 16. It is like a 1 to 2 hour game, depending on the gameplay and depending on how long it takes you to make those decisions, because you can have some analysis paralysis in this game, because there are a lot of choices. After you're doing a mission, or you're going to the market, or there's different things.
And we do have a full playthrough of this with the expansions. And it's one of those, like, so the really interactive part comes in. Again, you have your standard deck builder. You have a hand of 5 cards that you have to get rid of during your turn, or discard anything you don't have. But you have to you can't just play the cards. You have to have other cards that allow you to play more cards. But you have to
like a tree.
Yeah, but you have to negotiate with the other players for, like, I want to complete this mission. This is the reward for it. I'll give you this if you'll help me. And if we complete it and you get this, but there's a lot of negotiation. There's a lot of player interaction in that is so much fun. It is a fantastic game.
I'm gonna let you put this on the floor on your side. Our next one is Red Rising. This is by Stonemaier game. I've actually read the Red Rising book. I've not actually completed it because I have misplaced my book. But what I've read is really good, and it actually lets me understand the concept of the colors, which is really cool. But you don't have to have read the book in order to play this game. And this is it's 1 to
6.
1 to 6.
Up to 6.
Yeah, 1 to 6 player, 40 to 60 minute. And you might be adding a few more minutes, but the rounds are so quick.
It's very quick turns.
The turns are really quick.
Especially if you do your due diligence and know kind of what you're going to do. Obviously, what you can do changes based on what other players do, but if you keep out, like, if you pay attention to what's going on between turns and you think about what you want to do and react accordingly, like in real time to what people are doing, and don't just wait till it's your turn to look at the board for the first time in 5 minutes, the rounds go pretty quick.
And if you do know, the book series is really cool to see the art because obviously in the book, it's an adult book, so you have to use your own imagination. But it's really cool to see the art that they created of the characters in the book. So that's something I've really liked. Yeah. But the game is, I've really enjoyed it.
I've really enjoyed it too. I've played it a few times and I enjoyed it every time.
Yeah. You have different, like depending on the cards that you have in your hand, that can change. So you don't have like a one requirement that you need to do for the whole game. Mm-hmm. It depends on the cards that are in your hand. And so if you end up selling a card and then getting a different card, it could totally change the requirements of your hand that you need to change things around to have the best point value. Yep. And it's really interesting.
And your cards have abilities that like they do things as you play them, but then they have really powerful abilities based on the other card you have when you score. So one might be you get extra points if you have this other character, or you lose points if you have
this color in
your hand. So it's really as you get through the game and score different there's like the base scoring as you move up the tracks and have things in different places. But then at the end of the game, the bulk of the scoring is coming from your cards and trying to have those big combos where all of your cards are a cohesive unit and really work together to get you the most points. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed it.
I've had a blast playing this game. Next, we have Cindr. This is the closest to a party game that we have. I hear it called a party game a lot, but it's really not. It's a push your luck dice roll.
Well, and when he mentioned adding this, I was like, that's a party game.
And it's got a lot of, it is a fun, you're going to talk a lot during it. It works best if you have people that will lean into the narrative. It's a dragon dating app game.
Did you say that the player count?
Yeah, it's 1 to 5.
It says 1 to 5. How would you play this as a 1 player?
I'm sure it's in the rules.
It probably is. I've not played it yet. But yeah, we've had a lot of fun depending on the people you're with.
You're making your dating profile for your dragon. We always play as Kevin the Unicorn.
We usually just play as
Kevin the Unicorn is not a dragon. He just likes dating dragons.
Well, your characters are not dragons, but you date dragons. Right. So we've got different, all different kinds of creatures in the mythological world.
And you're trying to roll the dice that have hearts and flames and things on them. And
you don't want to get burned.
Yes, your goal is to go on multiple dates with these people, and then they come into your hand, and you get benefits based on having them in long-term relationships.
Yeah, but you cannot be committed and have multiple.
Yep, but you don't want to get burned on your date. So you have different colored dice that have different, some have more flames, some have more hearts. It's so much fun if you're playing with a group of people that are willing to lean into that and narrate their date and what they're doing at the restaurant or the hay caught on fire or whatever.
We've had a lot of fun.
There's a lot of There's innuendo. There's some suggestive text on the cards.
So it's an adult game.
It's an adolescent. It's
we've not played this. We won't play with.
We won't play with the kids, but it's a fun game to play with all adults or even teenagers would probably be fine. Maybe not.
It'd be fun for adults to play with teenagers just for that awkwardness.
It's fun.
Okay, this one there's a little bit of a caveat with this one because
this is the only one we have that requires an expansion.
Here, you hold the expansion because I gotta fix this.
But Picture Perfect base game is up to 4 players. Mm-hmm. They have an expansion that makes it up to 6.
And the reason you would need that
of this one also. We play a lot of games that we really like.
We do.
Yeah.
The reason that you do need the expansion this,
you need
but because what you have is as a player, you've got your screen, you've got your flooring, and then you also have your other characters.
Yeah, you're trying to arrange a picture.
So this adds 2 more.
Right. It adds the components that you need to be able to.
Exactly.
So this is, like she said, you're trying to, you randomly distribute cards into envelopes that have I want to be next to this person or I want to be on this side of the table. And then you only get to see a limited number of those envelopes in the game, and you're trying to put everyone where they want to be. It was very triggering for Allison as a family photographer.
I thought it was going, and I think the first play or 2 was a little triggering because as a family photographer, I don't like that pressure as the photographer being with families that really, they need a picture, but they really don't like each other. And this is kind of the way that felt, because it's I don't want them to be seen, and I don't want to stand by that person. Yes. And you have that. But if you go at it as this, I am almost like a detective problem-solving feel, it was really puzzly in that aspect. And so I really liked that. Lots of
memory to it. It's good.
I can put that
It is one that, I'll put it over here. It's one that you talk a lot more, not necessarily talking to the other people, but it tends to have a lot more frustrated just venting during the
You'll
game.
see if you go watch our playthrough.
It's fun to hear other people get frustrated, and then
you had fun listening to Devin and I.
But then just know, like, oh, you're obviously trying to place the dog right now because they were just could not make up their mind. So
that dog was picky.
Okay, so next we have Plunder: A Pirate's Life from Lost Boy Entertainment.
We need to get this to the table again soon. This game is so good.
This is one of the, as far as production value for cost, hold on, like it is so...
Are you going to show?
It's got these really cool chonky little boats that have flags and stuff. All the components are fantastic.
All the components are mixed up in here.
It's because it lives on its side.
It does live on its
But
side.
it's up to 6 players. You are exploring the map.
Yeah, that was up to 6.
You're exploring the map, trying to collect different things.
Well, you're also pirates.
Yeah, so you're pirates. You're fighting. It has they're somewhere behind there, but you have little cannons and sails that you can add to your ship to be able to move farther and attack better.
Yeah, they're all in here. You got sails, and you can upgrade your ship.
Little sails.
These remind me of Life, like the game of Life, putting your people in your ship.
Yeah.
So you've got different dice.
Yeah, you can go and you can attack other ships.
Now,
you can explore for treasure.
We played this with the boys. They're the only thing. I mean, you got pirates. There's no word. Like there's nothing questionable.
It's fully language independent.
We have apple juice.
Is it? No, there is
words in there.
Language on there.
We have apple juice.
The adults drink rum. The kids drink apple juice.
Because it looks like apple. The boys asked why there's apple juice. So
this is
like that.
It's a really
so it's resource
fun,
collecting in order to do different things, but the points, whoever.
It is $49.99. We don't usually talk about price, but on this one it's $49.99 on Amazon, and it is probably the highest production value to price ratio.
Especially for an independent.
The cardboard, all the boards are really thick. The cards are good quality. The ships are good quality. I was shocked when I found out this was only $50.
The table presence of this game is fantastic. It's huge.
Maps. We do have a tutorial for this. You can go and see.
And you can, if you have like 2 players, you reduce the map size a little bit.
Yeah, the map is 2 tiles by 6 tiles. Normally you can drop it down to 2 by 2 to make it smaller. So,
great game. Highly recommend it.
Do you have any more on that?
I have one more.
Okay.
Tiny Towns. Yes. This one plays 1 to 6. It says 14 up, but it's just a component thing. I think there is a little bit of language dependence in it, but the concept is very universal because you've got colors and you're putting your little. What are these? Cubes, colored cubes on your base mat in order to build different buildings.
Yeah, don't know how well you can see this, but you have different buildings on the table that everyone is trying to build. You have a 4x4 map. People select cubes and you put them where you want on your board. And then once you match look on the screen, once you match the pattern to build the building, you put that building there, you take the cubes off, and you're trying to build your tiny town and achieve things. Yeah. It's really puzzly. It's very simple.
It's from AEG. It's about 45 minutes to an hour, I'd say, depending on the age and your player count. Yes. You got one more? Is this up to 2 more? Okay.
So we have Arcana Rising from Gray Fox Games. This is a new one. This is up to 6 players. It's an engine builder.
It says 14 up. That may be a little bit thematic.
It's a little bit thematic. There's some stuff that there is some it's magic. There's some magic theme to it. But as far as gameplay,
it's not like gross blood, but the concept is there. You've got the blood.
So you're trying to build your engine on the table, and there's a board in the middle that has different tokens that are randomly placed. And over the 6 rounds of 6 parts of each round, you activate the tokens that are there, so it's randomized, and when you activate it, you activate what you've done. So you're trying to build an engine that's going to produce more as things go.
You've played this more times than me. I've only played this one time.
Yeah, I played it pre-Kickstarter, and then but this is from
Gray Fox Games.
Yep.
So it was just delivered to its Kickstarter
in the last month. About a month ago.
So I believe it's going to
retail.
They had
it at Gen Con.
They did. I believe it's going to retail really soon, if not already.
Yeah. So, but it's a really straightforward, really simple engine builder, but it was really fun.
I enjoy it. And the tokens, I know this was Kickstarter, but I believe the poker chip tokens.
I don't know if those are going to, I don't know what in this specific box is Kickstarter exclusive.
I really like poker chips.
So that is Arcana Rising. If you're looking for a fun engine builder,
it has this
that's good one to check out. And then last we have Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
This is 3 to 7.
Yeah, it's Stonemaier and Bezier games. Yeah, so this is a really unique mechanical game.
It is. This one really surprised us.
And it does have an expansion that adds components, but it also goes up to 8 players. But this out of the box is 7 players.
Speaking of out of the box, I know that we haven't done this with the other ones, but all the times we've played, we always keep our stuff in here.
The organization for this, it has game trays, organizers, and when you're ready to go, if I remember right, it's been a little bit since we played this. Everyone grabs 2 stacks of these tiles, and you're ready to go.
It's just 1 stack.
No, it's 2.
Oh.
Pretty sure it's 2.
Oh, I think it's just 1.
You grab the stacks of tiles. They come out so that they're all organized.
This purple one is the expansion. So you get, but the expansion fits in the base game box.
Yes.
So this is how it's packed.
Yep.
Just like that.
But what's unique about it is, so you're trying to build your castle, and everyone has their set of tiles, and you are building a castle with the person to your left and the person to your right. And so you go around and you draft tiles, and you're kind of like, okay, what are we going to do over here? What are we going to do over here? But you score your lowest castle, so you can't
you can't lean on one.
Yeah, you can't say, okay, I'm going to do all my good stuff over here, and then I'm just going to like sabotage this castle. Yes, so it is a lot of fun. It's really strategic. We played with the boys, but yeah, you can get a lot of people around the table playing it, and
Now,
we've played.
You interact with the 2 people on either side of you. You don't interact with the people across the table from you.
But you're still scoring against them.
That's true.
And it's been a little bit since we played this one. I'm foggy on the drafting mechanism with it.
You pass, so you have your tiles and you pick one for each castle that you're building, and then you pass your tiles to either the left or the right. It depends on which round you're in.
So there is some drafting to it, that it's going around the table and you're kind of passing stuff along, and then you score based on the conditions for the different kind of tiles. So you have your base tile and you're trying to build onto that. So you get some tiles want to be under other tiles, some tiles want to be like surrounded by certain tiles, but it's just one of those you're building your castle and scoring based on the conditions. But again, you have these tiles and you have to decide which one would be best on the castle to the left and right of you, and you're just trying to manage those 2 castles and the players that you're playing with. Yep. And again, the hard part is that the lowest player scores.
The lowest
castle scores. So and there's also, it does play 2 players, and you have an AI, a 3rd player, which is Ludwig. And Ludwig won a lot when we played 2 players.
As a 2-player count. We were frustrated we were surprised that Ludwig won.
Yes.
This is a 45 to 60 minute game depending on, but every time we've played it, it felt like I was like, oh wow, we're already done. Yeah. It goes really quick. Every time we play this game, I'm like, I really like that.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a unique mechanic and how you do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Stonemaier and Bezier games.
And I think that's because Castle of Mad King Ludwig is a Bezier Games property, and then Between Two Castles is a Stonemaier collaboration with Bezier. Yep. So
that is our 13 games that you can play with 5 to 7, because this was our 7th player.
Yeah, more than 4 players.
More than 4 player
games. So a lot of them are 5. Again, there's tons of party games out there. We just wanted to stay away from those for this list because that's what people have been asking for. Yep. So tell us in the comments your suggestions for those higher player count games. We would love to know, because it's always great to have go-tos.
And this just came from our collection. So if you have a game that plays more than 4 players in your collection and you think would fit in lists like this, please let us know below. Because first of all, we'd like to check that out. And it'd also be another option for other people looking to see another game that they could pick from.
Yep. So, yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, this was awesome. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.